Good evening, classmates. This is J Mike. So I want to take you back, as I show you my website, to the beginning where we did our elevator speeches, in which I stated that the problem that I was trying to solve is to have a interactive e-learning portal for my equipment operators as we shift from formal classroom training to EO training on demand. So the project here is a sample website that gives the learners, in this case the equipment operator initial individuals, all of the data that they would need in order to be able to study and facilitate learning while on shift during their OJT period. The learning for an equipment operator initial involves three different phases. The first phase is what we call generic fundamentals, in which they learn the generic fundamentals of power plant operation. Basically, they learn about heat transfer, reactor theory, and components such as pump laws, valve laws, so on and so forth. The second phase of the equipment operator training is what we call systems training. In systems training, they learn all the different plant systems and how they work together. The third phase historically has been what we call the OJT and task performance phase, or on-the-job training. So the equipment operator is given tasks, the equipment operator performs the tasks, and then they're evaluated performing those tasks until they're suitably qualified. After which they go into their final examination period and are qualified to go up on shift. Historically, this has been about a 12-month process, and during those 12 months the operators are being paid and are sitting in formal classrooms, but we also have to hire in anticipation of losses. So for example, if I was going to lose 5 operators to go on to licensing, I need to bring in those 5 operators and put them through the process. In an effort to save money in the long run, what we're trying to do is what's called equipment operator on demand, where we can hire equipment operators in ones or twos, bring them on shift, put them on shift, and have them learn the equipment operator job, the systems and the fundamentals while they work on shift. That's why having this e-learning portal would be something that's extremely important for the company. So that's the basis for what we see in front of you. So what I'm showing you here is my equipment operator e-learning portal. It's a really basic layout. There's the instructions here that tell the operators to select the desired system from the drop-down menus in the top bar. Now, one of the things I was really concerned about with showing you this is that a lot of the materials that Exelon has is proprietary. We have systems materials that we don't necessarily want to have released out into the generic public space. Not necessarily for safeguards or for any sort of top secret, but a lot of it has to just do with security. We don't want to have any sort of terrorist event or anybody being able to access our plant and understand the systems and how they're laid out, and therefore can come and do something bad. So for our purposes today, what I did was I split the systems up into 3 headers. Now you'll notice at the top next to my icon and what the label of the web page is, I have my home. I have external systems, which are systems that would be external to the reactor building and the turbine building. And then I have my reactor building systems, and I have my turbine building systems. All the way on the far end, as you can see, I have my survey. This is the survey of website satisfaction. This is the activity that we did earlier in the class. I want to start off with the reactor building and turbine building systems, mainly because what I did was I want to show you what the layout would be with these systems. So I gave a system in each one. So for turbine building, the system that's listed is the electro-hydraulic control system, and this would be just one of about 50 different systems that would be on this drop-down menu. And if you go to this website, my section is under construction, mainly because this information is proprietary and I didn't want that to be out. Same thing with the reactor building systems. I chose a system called LPCI, which stands for low pressure coolant injection. If you go to low pressure coolant injection page, again, this section will be under construction. This is really just showing you what the individual systems would look like, and you can go back and click on the system that you wanted to go to. So clicking on home, and you're back to the home equipment operator e-learning portal. So for a vast majority of this project, what I have been working on is the Switchyards page. So under external systems, you could go and pick the Switchyards page and have access to the Switchyards material and see exactly what we've been doing. So since this is a survey of multimedia, the goal is to try to have a web page that's got multiple different learning platforms, different types of multimedia to it. So this is the Switchyards web page. What we have going on here is a couple different formats for multimedia. The first thing that we have is the lesson plan. So everything in nuclear power is based off the lesson plan, and so what the equipment operator can do is come over here and you can click on the lesson plan and be able to open that up and read the lesson plan, one of 89 pages. But this would be the material that they would use when studying. The second thing that I did, and this is really one I want to get to, is I did the videos for the objectives. So you can see here on the lesson plan, we have objectives 1, objectives 2. We have videos for those objectives. And what I did was I had myself as the instructor record the video covering the PowerPoint presentation and basically teaching the material as if I was teaching in front of a classroom. And this operator has the ability to access this video at any time and have someone basically teach them the system while they're studying with their lesson plans. Now the model that I did was just three objectives, 3 of the 14 objectives. And the reason why I broke them up by objectives is for a couple different things. The objectives will tend to change. So for example, if I were to have a modification to the plant and I needed to change something, instead of having to redo an entire video of all 14 objectives combined, now I could just do what I would consider to be plug and play. I can pull out objective 2, for example, and I can record another objective 2 and slide it right in onto the server and then be able to link it right back up to this page. So by doing it this way and having the videos separated like this, it allows me to account for the modifications to the systems. Now, obviously, making the videos is going to be a long straw, and so in my project plan, one of the things that we had to do in this class was to also lay out how we're going to do this. A vast majority of my time was going to be level of effort, getting the instructors who work for me as SMEs to do their systems. Each of the instructors owns about 8 to 10 systems, and if you think 8 to 10 systems times times 14 objectives, worst case would be 140 short videos. These videos range from anywhere from 6 to 14 minutes, depending on which objective it would be. Some videos would be longer, depending on the source material and the type. For these videos, all I did was, of course, use a Screencast-O-Matic just to get to quick 15 minutes. And again, this is just a presentation to the senior leaders to get the funding to get the equipment that I need. Now, some of the equipment that I had highlighted for my project through the class was some individual server blades to be able to store the videos once they're made. I probably wouldn't use YouTube. These are all, of course, on YouTube, which is why I picked the Switchyards. It's not something I'm not afraid of having out there. I wouldn't use YouTube. I would record direct videos in a more professional environment, either through Panopto or another type of video recording system. So, again, though, the point of this is to show you the links that you can go to these different videos, and of course they will play. Another thing that we did in this class was we had to make a quiz. So what I did was here I used the Google form to create a quiz. This is a 5-question quiz, and I have drop-down menus, multiple choice. I have fill in the blanks with short answers, and even essay answers as well. In real life, this would not be the case. This would be a link to our Vision program, and we have a new aspect of Vision, which is a desktop quiz generator through Vision. Vision is a product that we use to store our tasks and our objectives, as well as our quiz and exam material. An important distinction here is, as we had talked about in class, is that these quizzes would be available and can be generated through Vision, but the exams themselves will still have to be administered by a training instructor, just because we want to make sure that the student isn't cheating. When you're in initial training, the exams are closed reference, not open reference, so we would still want to control that element. Last but not least, one of the things I added in here is, as we had talked about, I have the OJT or TPE task standard. So OJT stands for on-the-job training, TPE stands for task performance evaluation. So it would be one of the tasks that the operator would have to perform as part of their OJT process. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this out and show you what it looks like. But what this would be is a PDF, and it gives a task title. So in this case, the operator has to operate a high voltage disconnect, and then it gives the initial conditions and initiating cues, gives the task standard. So this is what he's being graded, he or she's being graded against as part of that evolution. Gives the procedures, so they know exactly what procedure to go to. The safety considerations for operating high voltage disconnects. And of course, this is attached. This task is part of the Switchyard's lesson plan material. That's why I'm showing this task. This is one of many tasks. So, for example, under LIPSI or under EHC, they would have separate tasks related to those systems. The student could print this out as part of their OJT book and get the training done, either perform or simulate with the operator who trained them. And then later on, they can get the evaluation done as it perform or simulate with the operator signing off that they have passed the evaluation successfully and therefore is ready to perform this task moving forward. So in short, again, going back to what we have here, the goal was to make an interactive one-stop shop for each system that the equipment operator in initial training could access. I provided them many different versions of multimedia that we had talked about in class. Written material, some videos with sound, some interactive multimedia through a quiz, and again, just a blanket PDF that they can print out and use to finish up their qualifications. So with that, again, I wish you all the best of luck with your projects, and I hope you enjoyed this tour of the system, of the system's Switchyard's learning page, and I look forward to seeing what you've created with your projects. Have a wonderful